Hey guys, Timcast music producer Carter Banks here, wanting to wish you a Merry Christmas. We just signed our first artist to Trash House Records, and we have our first debut single coming out December 12th. Pre-save it on your favorite stream platform at trashhousechristmas.com. Support our work.
From Rep Sarah Stalker, I have guilt every day for being white, and kids should too.
Children.
I'm going to be honest. I don't feel good about being white every day for a lot of reasons.
Retardation?
Because it's a point of privilege.
That's the biggest one.
That I get to move through the world in a way that so many of my other colleagues and friends and family members of the community don't get the privilege to do. And I'm just a female, but just a woman, just a white woman. If I was a white man, I would be functioning from a point of an even greater privilege. I think we're missing an opportunity when kids...
Oh my gosh.
When kids have a moment to reflect about how the color of their skin does and does not allow them to move through the world. Running to them and trying to stifle that and trying to say you shouldn't feel bad, so we don't want to ever expose you to something that is going to make you have to pause and have maybe some internal feelings.
Whistling?
It's a missed opportunity for some really good dialogue.
Have you noticed how she keeps whistling on her S's?
Yeah. Oh, I was wrong, by the way.
That's a speech
21 Republicans voted against, 19 voted for. Listen.
I thought it was more. I thought it was in that story. It shows 31 nays, 19 yays.
Okay, well, someone from my team was just like, you were wrong. So,
was it like bill to quash this or something?
I don't know.
So anyway, this video that you posted, Libby, is it slightly different?
I think it's a longer one, but I have another one here. Let me give you the.
She said more?
No. Please don't make me watch anything like that again. Listen, we cannot have someone like that and her people in charge of this country again. Absolutely. You're talking about the midterms. You're talking about redistricting. I'm sitting over here. I'm thinking about what happened in my state of Miami this past week with their mayor election.
How did that happen? A Democrat won in Miami?
Did you see the stats? Like, you just said plus 10 or plus 5 or 10 seats in Florida. Like we have over 1 million Republican voters in our state. Miami hasn't had a Democrat in charge, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 years or something like that. It is crazy. And I'm listening to people that are having these other off elections in places around the country, and they're losing. The Republicans and the conservatives are losing everywhere. And if we don't get our act together, and if the Republicans don't get their heads out of their rear ends, and I get fired up and I get angry, very, very angry, because what they did to kids under the Biden administration, what they did to moms under the Biden administration, we cannot have that woman back in power.
What is this woman's name, Libby?
Sarah Stalker.
She really helps me understand bang, zoom, straight to the moon.
They're all like this, though. That lady next to her, she sucks, too.
I think Phil might be the only one old enough to get that.
Yeah.
Did you understand what I just said?
No.
To the moon, Alice.
Oh, to the moon, Alice. I get Alice.
It was a joke implying that her incessant nagging makes me want to strike her.
Well,
it's a joke. I don't really want to. It's from the Honeymooners.
I think that show was a little problematic, and there was probably a lot of domestic violence.
One of the best jokes ever was Futurama, when they go to the moon and the whalers on the moon. They're like, Earth astronauts were very fat, and he's like, one of these days, Alice, bang, zoom, straight to the moon. And no. And then Leela was like, I didn't realize astronauts are so fat. And then he goes, he's not an astronaut. He was just using space travel as a metaphor for beating his wife.
So good.
To the point about this woman, this is a woman in a position of authority. Literally saying
people voted for her.
Children should feel inherently bad about their skin color.
Wait, we should play this clip.
Within JCPS, we have a really diverse body of students.
We need a de-esser.
We have 145 languages that are spoken, and we have a really high percentage of kids that are on free and reduced lunch.
Bro, she's Cobra Commander.
63%. In the term DEI, inclusive, diversity, equity, inclusion, it's about including everyone. White people have never been excluded. What the efforts of DEI is trying to do within a school setting now is to pull in other students. Their stories are relative. Their culture, their history, those things are important to see reflective in the reading material. And if we if we don't allow those things to come into our textbooks and to come into our conversations in the classroom and in a constructive way, then we are simply just trying to whitewash things. And I find that to be incredibly problematic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm Saudi Arabia, here I come. Sharia law, all of it. I'm just, repeal the 19th doesn't go far enough.
No.
She has convinced me, not only was she doing a vocal fry, but she was also hissing.
Yes, she's
And
awful.
you know what? By all means, everyone now pile on and talk about the things that she said, the merit of her ideas being bad, and then I'm just going to be like, but she was vocal frying. Oh.
No, she's awful. Everything about her is awful. And that little glasses next to her, she sucks too. She said stupid stuff also. They all said stupid stuff. And in fact, I was going to clip way more of this, and then I had to like go do more of my job instead of pay attention to these idiot women. But they're so foolish because they act like they're saying something that is really profound, and they're saying that this woman's solution, getting rid of DEI, is bad because of all of their ideological whimsy, but it's founded in nothing.
Yeah.
And you had this woman, glasses over here, she was like, can you show me some studies, peer-reviewed studies? Or no, it wasn't her. It was a different stupid woman in this legislature.
There's more?
It's all women in this legislature. I don't know what Kentucky is doing wrong, but they're really not sending their best to run this state. You know, they've like just gone way too far in the other direction. And the couple of men that did speak up in this hearing, they were like so meek about it. And I was like, fellas,
It's
like
the
grab your balls and
testosterone.
stand up.
Look, if
It's,
men
no,
are-
listen. It's the testosterone. These guys, they need to they did a drop trow and put a red light on their balls to get a testosterone back. That's the only
They
answer.
got to do something.
I guarantee if men stood up and sounded assertive, these women would say that they are trying to intimidate them. That it would be all, I don't know what if there's hate.
But then they might,
Yeah,
but
yes,
then
yes.
they
Wait,
might fall in line.
hold-
Then they might fall in line.
I was going to say, Phil, if these men stood up and talked back, they'd say, you. That's what they'd do.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but
Probably not these guys,
When,
but no. She's
people like the people like this that believe this stuff, if a man were to stand up and say no, you're wrong, and blah blah, and be in an assertive way, they would see he was being toxically masculine, and that it was an unsafe environment, and they would use all of the buzzwords, and these guys would get censured in the Kentucky State legislature or whatever.
I know what to do. I want to tell you guys about chickens, but hear me out.
okay.
So I'm sure all of you know about the pecking order. You've heard this, right?
Sure.
It's because chickens, hens, the females, they all create a pecking order, which is they peck at each other and then eventually figure out who's the super hen, who's in charge, and then there's a hierarchy essentially. Roosters kind of have this. People believe that if you put two roosters in the same coop, they'll fight. That's not true. They stay away from each other so long as there's enough ladies to go around. So the guys will kind of just back off and they'll have their harem or whatever. Now, here's the thing. They did an experiment where they said, what happens if we take the alpha hen at the top of the pecking order, another one from a different coop, and we put them all in one coop? Will it create a new pecking order? No, they all murdered each other.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying we should take people like her and Elizabeth Warren and the rest of them and create a special legislative body for all of them so they can just scream at each other.
You could do that, but if you put AOC in there, then they would create a new pecking order and she'd be in charge.
Or like you let them do that, you don't give them any actual voting power. They just get to argue amongst themselves and everybody else.
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
All right, I have a real solution, not to plug my organization, but the whole point of Moms
You
for
have a great
Liberty.
organization, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I mean, the whole point of Moms for Liberty when we started, and the reason it was titled Moms for Liberty and it was a women's-based organization is because we saw the lay of the land. And men really, especially in 21 when we launched, it was hard for them to stand up at school board meetings where you have these other women standing there for exactly what you're saying, the optics of what was going on. It was when the Biden administration was like, the Proud Boys, this, that, like, men were really being marginalized. And so in order to combat this woman, you're right. I don't know that you could go stand in there in all your manly self and combat her in a fair fashion because she'll play victim. You'll look like the big, mean, bad guy. You need another mom. You need a softer, an equivalent woman in there that can speak intelligently, that understands all the wrongs that this woman and her people are doing and can combat it.
The issue that I see is that 50 Shades of Grey sold 150 million copies, and now you've got Minotaur Milking Farm or whatever it's called.
Is that
Morning
the
Glory
handmaid
milking.
thing?
Morning, Brett. I don't know why you know the title.
We talked about it on the show.
Everybody.
I haven't read it.
I have a
swear.
great memory, and I still can't remember the title of that book.
Wait, is this that handmaid thing? Have you guys seen the handmaid?
No. The Morning Glory Milking Farm is the new bestseller that women love, which is very similar to 50 Shades of Grey. So if you're not familiar, have either of you, are you either familiar? I'd imagine you're not.
I did not read it.
Neither one. Of
So
those
50
books.
Shades of Grey is a college grad woman with debt. She can't afford to pay it back.
But it's kind of like Secretary,
meets-
right? With James Spader. I did watch that.
She meets a billionaire who puts her in a slave contract where he beats her, and she loves it. And it sold 150 million copies because women loved it. And Morning Glory Milking Farm is basically the same thing. A young woman graduates college, but she can't pay off her debt, so she takes a job at a glory hole facility where minotaurs go to get milked by young women. And it's like a bestseller. It's massive, and women love it. My point is,
last time I was on, and I
the
was
things that motivate women are very different from the things that motivate men. And there's this trope, this idea, right? There's the male power fantasy. When you watch a movie like Spider-Man from the 2000s, is a really great example of the male power fantasy. And that is the Green Goblin captures a school bus full of children and Peter's love interest, Mary Jane. And he says, "What'll it be, Peter? Mary Jane or suffer the children?" And Spider-Man saves them both. Because that's the male power fantasy. Or like when Spider-Man's in the train, screaming and like he's being ripped apart, but he saves everyone. The female power fantasy is represented in rom-coms, where the woman trounces about doing whatever she wants and gets whatever she wants in the end. That's the trope. If you watch rom-coms, it's just she goofs off, screws around at work, or she like ditches her husband for some new guy she just met. Or there's that new show called Dying for Sex, where a woman who was with her husband for 15 years gets stage 4 cancer, a terminal diagnosis, so she says, "I'm leaving you," and then she goes and bangs 200 guys.
That's nasty.
These are the shows, and I'm not saying all women are like this. I'm saying so long as you have these macro trends of we can see what it is that women will generally choose, it is absurd not to think they will generally choose similar things in politics. Now, I am not saying repeal the 19th. I don't go that far. I think there's a lot of dumb guys, too. I'm saying if we don't recognize the tendencies of female macro patterns, we're going to overlook psychopaths like this lady who burn down the system.
So what you're saying is to get rid of books like Morning Glory Milking Farm, we actually do have to cancel student debt. Because it's always about debt.
That's right.
It is.
So make a new book called something. It's something about Zoran Mamdani and like he becomes president somehow. They overturn which amendment is it? No, it's actually just in the Constitution. I think it's one of the original articles. Yeah. They pass a new amendment allowing Zoran to be president. He cancels student loan debt and then has a harem.
There you go.
But all the girls of Williamsburg would love that.
I know. I'd make $1 million. I should write the book.
Yeah. They would
I should.
love that.
Actually, that's a really good idea. Guys,
Yeah.
to all the guys out there listening to this right now, AI is your friend. You ask ChatGPT to write you an erotic novel about Zoran Mamdani canceling student debt, and then you put it on Amazon, and then make Facebook ads targeting and Instagram targeting specifically Williamsburg. You'll make $1 million overnight.
But what happens when Mamdani rejects the trans women as being part of his harem, and he's just like, no trans women in the harem?
Mamdani, there are people,
He's
there are
into
people
it.
out there that swear up and down that
into it.
Mamdani's an Islamist. He's not an Islamist. He is only using Islam as a means to avoid being accused of toxic masculinity. He is a leftist to his core. It has nothing.
And we've all seen that little head nod thing.
Yeah, has very, very little to do with his religion or with religion at all. It's all about leftism for him.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.